Once upon a time, in the late 19th century, on the picturesque island of Zanzibar, an extraordinary event unfolded that would forever change the course of its history. This was the backdrop of the Anglo-Zanzibar War, a conflict that remains the shortest war in recorded history. Zanzibar, situated off the eastern coast of Africa, was a thriving sultanate with a rich history of trade and cultural diversity. The island's beauty was matched only by its political complexity. The sultanate was under the control of Sultan Khalid bin Bargash, who had ascended to the throne following the death of his cousin, Sultan Hamid bin Thuwaini. On August 25, 1896, Sultan Hamid bin Thuwaini unexpectedly passed away, leaving behind a controversial succession crisis. The British, who held significant influence in the region, had previously exerted control over Zanzibar through treaties and agreements. They favored a different successor, Sultan Hamud bin Muhammad, who they believed would be more cooperative and amenable to their interests. Sultan Khalid bin Bargash, however, saw himself as the rightful heir and promptly declared himself sultan. The situation quickly escalated into a tense standoff, with British warships anchored near the Zanzibari coast, prepared to intervene if necessary. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis through negotiations failed, and on the morning of August 27, 1896, Sultan Khalid bin Bargash fortified the palace with his loyal soldiers and supporters. Meanwhile, Sultan Hamud bin Muhammad took refuge inside the British consulate, with British Marines protecting him. The British, led by Rear Admiral Harry Rawson, issued an ultimatum to Sultan Khalid: abdicate the throne by 9 a.m. the next day or face military action. As the deadline approached, tension gripped the island, and the world waited in anticipation. The decisive hour arrived, and Sultan Khalid refused to comply with the British demands. Instead, he defiantly declared his intention to fight to defend his claim to the throne. The British fleet unleashed a devastating barrage on the Sultan's palace, firing at will. The bombardment, which included the latest naval weaponry of that era, lasted just 38 minutes. In the face of overwhelming firepower, Sultan Khalid's forces could do little to resist. The palace was reduced to rubble, and the casualties on the Zanzibari side were heavy. The warships ceased fire at 9:40 a.m., bringing the conflict to an abrupt end. Remarkably, the entire war had lasted less than an hour, making it the shortest war in history. Sultan Khalid bin Bargash sought refuge in the German consulate but was eventually arrested by British forces and exiled. The aftermath of the Anglo-Zanzibar War solidified British influence over Zanzibar, and Sultan Hamud bin Muhammad ascended to the throne under British protection. Zanzibar would remain a British protectorate until it gained independence in 1963. The story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War serves as a reminder of the complex web of politics and power struggles that shaped the history of many nations during the colonial era. The short, intense conflict left an indelible mark on the island, forever altering its trajectory and identity.